Some of the things I do in training, I'm not really able to show and display out there on Fight Night, but you know, I still feel like I'm having
tired. Like
yeah, still be able to have fun fights for the fans, and that's all I really care about. If I can have fights that people remember and you know it's not boring, I feel like it's okay, you know. But I watch all these guys, man. I got my eyes on all these guys.
So for you, it's not always about the result, like the end result. It's also about the showtime, right?
It's always about the showtime. You know, this is entertainment. People want a good show. You know, if I'm gonna go out there and just take people down and just lay on them in their guard, nobody wants to see that.
Yeah.
But
it's boring.
It is boring. You know, I do understand it, but at the same time, it's boring. You know, as an MMA fighter himself, I don't even want to watch that. I watch it one time. I'm not going to go back to go watch that fight again. There's just no point.
Yes. It's often very. It's a good strategy because it often works. Like it wins you fights.
Get your hand raised.
Yeah.
It does the job. Pays the bills. But I don't know how many guys are going to be knocking at your door to want to endorse you or do anything like that with those kind of performances.
So with your fights, the two fights that you've lost via decision, you feel like those weren't like entertaining fights because like they went the whole distance, or you feel that like they were still good fights? It's just like, you know, the result wasn't.
I felt my Sunsaw fight, the fight was kind of boring until the third round when I started to really pick it up. And that's when my confidence was really through the roof and I realized the guy had nothing for me. You know, the media played him up to be this fearless striker and counter striker with heavy hands, and he hit me one time and it looked like he threw everything into it, and I just kind of just looked at it and was like, if that's all you got, bro, I wish I'd known this from the beginning of the belt, because I would have just went right after him from the jump. The Callaway fight, I gassed. I did 3 workouts the day of the fight. You know, that was my own undoing, and I learned the hard way. You know, that's why he was a veteran, and
had nothing left in the gas tank.
Yeah, and I was the rookie still coming up, and that's why I wanted that challenge. You know, to kind of see and measure myself, and you know, these aren't losses. These are all learning. You know, you use it to learn. If you're not learning from these losses, then you're gonna keep going further and further behind, and these younger guys are gonna catch up because the sport's only getting younger, more evolved, and a lot of young cats are coming up, and they're scary, man. These guys are scary good.
That's what they say, that you either win or you learn, or whatever. One thing I would like to ask you as well is because as you said, this is entertainment. MMA is entertainment, so you know people pay to see a show. People also pay to see good fights. But you're also a bit of an entertainer. You have your own persona. It's the Funk Master and stuff like that. Is this really you, or is this like more for the show? Or do you obviously feel really confident and comfortable with it? So
it's a little bit of both. You know, I grew up. My dad used to wear these big old gold chains, and we always had the high top. I got baby pictures, you know, rocking gold chains, bracelets, rings, and my dad was heavy into jewelry, as you probably can tell from that. And you know, I wanted to do something different. You know, be myself and stick out from everybody else. And I was like, you know what, this is me. You know, I'm not doing anything to really change anything or fool anybody. You know, I'm still being myself, still Aljamain Sterling. You know, I'm like this on camera, I'm like this off camera. So there's nothing's being played up. This is just the real McCoy. You know, what you see is what you get, and that's a big factor in the sport too, man. People like people they can relate to, and I think I'm a very relatable guy in terms of certain things, like certain ways that I've grown up and certain things that I've been through, and. I forgot what the original question was, but did you see the Burrell fight? Did you see the Burrell fight? Did you see that banana split? You know, I thought that guy was tapping, man. I thought he was gonna say uncle, but
I'm having so much fun that I forgot the original question as well. So I'm gonna just ask another one. The next question, I would like to ask you about Polish fighters, because as you said, you are a student of the game. You watch a lot of fights, and as you know, there are more and more Polish fighters in the UFC. Who is the one to watch when it comes to Polish fighters? Do you have like your favorite? You like their style, or their ability?
Well, if there's any favorite Polish fighter that I have, it's the #1 fighter in the world. I think is Joanna Champion. I think she's one of the greatest fighters.
Everybody says Joanna Champion. They don't want to say her real name.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Jędrzejczyk.
Champion.
That's what you want to know.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite fighters from Poland.
She's amazing. One of a kind, really.
Yeah, you can't teach what she does. The way she intimidates fighters, and she really tries to get in their head, and then she backs it up and she throws ruthless.
She's super funny as well.
And she's funny. She's she's a badass, man. When she steps in that octagon, she has nothing but bad intentions, and very respectful. But when she gets in there, it's kill or be killed with her, and I love that attitude.
And when it comes to male fighters, do you have any favorites?
No favorites, but I have my eye on that guy, Damien Stasiak.
Stasiak.
He's fighting a guy actually from Long Island that I used to train with back home, Brian Kelleher. So that's an interesting fight that I'm looking forward to because, like I said, I watch all these guys. If you're an entry-level debuting fighter, I'm watching you. If you're on the regional circuit and I happen to catch the fight, I'm watching you. And that's just how it is. You know, I want to make sure I got guys on the regional circuit coming up to me telling me that one day they're gonna take me out, and I'm like, all right, man, you gotta get here first.
See.
Yeah, you get here first, and then we'll see what's what. You know.
So with the Funkmaster, it's MMA and UFC 24/7.
Pretty much 24/7. I'm doing a little bit of real estate on the side, trying to help my family out.
Sure.
My parents going through a divorce, so you know I got my own. Everyone's got their own problems, you know. Everyone's got their own things that they got to deal with. I coach, also high school wrestling. That's one of the things I love. Wrestling helped put me on this platform, helped brought me here. You know, if it wasn't for wrestling, I probably wouldn't ever come to Poland. You know, it gave me that opportunity. You know, opened my eyes to being in the sport, and here I am today.
And as you said, you are a black belt in Funk Jitsu, is it?
Black belt in Funk Jitsu.
Yeah. Any other belts with other, obviously less stellar but less important disciplines?
Well, just a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, black belt in Funk Jitsu. I think if they had belts for wrestling, I think I would probably be a black belt.
They have in professional wrestling in WWE.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know Ben Askren, but I mimicked a lot of my wrestling style off of that guy.
Wrestler.
Yeah, in college. He was the original Funk Master, and my name is actually kind of a tribute to him because I watched him a lot growing up. Anything I seen him do in a wrestling match, writing down notes, watching the video, replaying it, jotting down more notes, going to the practice room, trying it, watching all his tutorial videos, and here I am today. I could do probably every single thing that he could do, and it's just being a student of the game, man. If you want to be one of the best, that's what you got to do. Be a student of the game and just indulge yourself in the sport.
You're actually a huge fan of Askren. He's so fluid in his motions. That's like amazing. Like and that's what you need to do. It's always like with the grappling, the better position you take.
It's a dance, man. You go out there. It's a fight, but it's really a dance. You know, if I do something, how do you react? How do you respond? And what am I going to do after your initial response? And how do you set everything up? So I really love the sport. There's so many ways you can win, so many different ways you can lose. And it's you never know what's going to happen when you step inside the octagon. Sometimes I come in there with like, all right, I'm going to try to keep it standing for a little bit. And next thing you know, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this guy down. You know what? I want to take it down to the ground. And next thing you know, I feel like I'm just going to stand up and work my striking a little bit. I think my last fight was probably one of my best striking displays next to the Augusto Mendes fight. And but eventually, my game plan is to put your ass on the floor, drive your head against that cage, cheese gritter your head, and land some elbows, man. That's really what it is. And usually that gets him out of there.
Okay, so I wish you all the best, and let's see the Funkmaster win some titles in the UFC.
Hopefully 2018. Hopefully it's the year of the Funk.
Aljo, talk to us about this Rani Yahya matchup you've got coming up. It's going to be a real test of your grappling credentials, which you've already showcased in the octagon, but he's an elite level grappler, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely an elite level grappler, but which one of these grapplers are doing the stuff that I'm doing, you know? Who's going for inverted triangles off of their back? Who's going for banana splits and I wish I got it, but who's doing stuff like that? No one's doing that kind of thing. I don't think any one of these guys have shown the versatility in their grappling arsenal as I have. A lot of these grapplers, they're very high level, but it's very basic, very traditional. I think the next evolution we're going to see in the ground department is going to be a lot of leg locks, heel hooks. If you come down to the Renzo Gracie Academy, Matt Serra, BJJ Academy, man, these guys are killers on the mat. If you leave your ankles exposed for 1 second, you're tapping. And those are the guys I'm rolling with every day. So my game's just evolving every time I step in the room to practice. And I don't know what Rani Yahya is going to have for me besides traditional grappling. You know, I'd be very surprised if he come out and do something very unorthodox. And I'm willing to go out there and throw a flying triangle. Is he willing to do some shit like that? I really have no idea, but I'm willing to do that kind of crazy stuff. And I'm not really sure what to expect besides him trying to go out there and take me down. If he tries to stand with me, I think it's going to get ugly really fast, really quick.
Map out your 2018. You said just then that aiming to get the belt in 2018. How many fights do you think you're going to need to go through to get that title shot?
I think 2 more. I think this one, and I think I fight 1 more in 2018, and I think that should be the #1 contender fight. I think just the way the landscape of everything, you got a Sunsao fighting Matt Lopez. The winner of that is going to be one step closer. Really, I don't think they want a Sunsao to fight for the belt. That's just my personal opinion, because the guy split decisions everybody, and he acts like he just got a finish. Caraway, that guy doesn't fight. He's finally fighting. He's fighting on the same card as me. Then you have Cruz versus Rivera. They're getting the next title shot. That will be in 2018. And then after that, we're gonna see what else shakes up. You got John Dotson. If he gets another win, that could be an interesting fight for me. So I just think this fight, I have to win this one. Got to get a finish. I think I go out there and fight one more in 2018, and I can solidify myself as the #1 contender for the next shot at the belt. We know this game is different these days, man. It's not, rankings don't mean shit. It really don't. I heard Cerrone actually saying that in an interview, and he's 100% right. It's been like that for the past almost 2 years at this point. So you go out there, you talk your shit, you shoot your shot, and hopefully good things happen.
So you'd be happy enough if your next fight in December was actually for a title. You're at the point of your career where you feel like you're perfectly ready for that opportunity.
For this next fight in December.
Yeah, imagine that was a title shot. Are you in the place in your career where you can handle that?
Where I can handle it 100%, but is it the right time? I don't think it's the right time. I think I need one more fight.
Right.
Personally, I think I go in there with a 3-fight win streak, 4-fight win streak. I think that makes a more appealing fight for the masses to want to watch and tune in.
Right.
You know, no one wants to see that guy coming in off of 1 or 2 wins and then going there and fighting for the title. I mean, maybe unless you're a Conor McGregor or someone like a polarizing figure, like maybe a Ronda Rousey comes back, she could immediately fight for a title. I'm in a different space right now. You know, I'm still developing, building my brand, building my career. So I understand how this game works a little bit, and wins matter.
Right.
And especially at my weight class, I want to bring something to the table to really come in there with some solid momentum.
Right. I have to ask as well, who's the better real estate agent, you or Reginald?
Well, he's a licensed realtor. I'm not a licensed realtor.
Okay.
I just develop the homes.
Right.
You know, if you guys want a house, you know, you tell me what you want, I'll fix it up, get you the nice open floor plan, and you let me know what your budget is, and we'll work something out.
Is there like a housing boom in Long Island at the moment or something? Why is everyone in MMA in that neck of the woods is getting into real estate?
Well, that's where the money is, man. If you're smart enough and you know you're savvy enough and you're gonna put in the time the right way, you can make some good money doing it. You know, I think it's become a little bit saturated, getting a little bit harder to get those profit margins that everyone's been so keen on wanting to get into the real estate business from the beginning to want to get. But you know, if you do your homework and you put in time, it's possible.
Something else, not just your mixed martial arts career, but have another revenue stream that kind of helps you out as well.
At least one thing. You know, I think it's very foolish for guys to just think I'm just gonna fight and that's it, because there's only a select few of guys who are gonna come in and just constantly keep winning, where their purse is gonna go up. They're gonna fight for the belt right away. There's gonna be bumps and ups and downs in the road, man, and it's like a roller coaster, this sport. You know, 1 minute you're on top of the game, you're on top of the world, next minute no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Then you gotta build yourself back up. You know, you gotta keep believing in yourself and keep doing that. But if you had something set up, you know, you don't have to go in there thinking, oh, I have to get to this fight. If I don't get to this fight, I can't pay the bills. You know, I was at a point where it was like that, because Long Island is just an expensive area. It's very tough to get by with just the money I was getting from beforehand. But good thing I was smart with my money. You know, I think I made one bad investment. It's not even an investment. I bought a car, financed it. It was an Audi. I love her. I call it Audacity. But you know, it's a foolish mistake I made because I didn't have someone better to kind of explain the value of money. And these are the things I'm learning along the way. So I'm teaching myself at the same time, and then I realized some of the things I should be doing, like branding yourself, setting yourself up for the future. And I coach on the side, so I have to stay active, keep moving.
We're all well aware mixed martial arts is a very volatile industry. I mean, you or your opponent could break a toe and then you're out of your fight in December and there goes that paycheck, and then sorry, that was just a point.
Yeah.
In terms of managing your career and trying to work your way up to a title shot, it's a bit of a balance in that, because you want to go out there and entertain, but you also need to make sure that you win. How do you strike that balance when you're getting ready for fights? Because, as you said, rankings don't always count for everything these days.
Well, I think it depends on your fight style and your strategy. You know, I pride myself in being a finisher. You know, it's been a long time. It's been 2 years since I've gotten finished, which is a very, very, very long time. You know, but you know, I'm trying. I'm doing everything I can. I'm putting the hammers on these guys. I'm trying to drop the hammer of Thor on these guys on the ground, and they're hanging on, man. And it's tough. There's no real answer to that. You gotta find that happy medium. You still gotta get your hand raised. It's one thing to be the exciting fighter who's jumping off the cage and doing all kinds of crazy shit, but if you're getting taken down and putting it back for 4 minutes of the fight, you're gonna lose. So you gotta figure out when is the smart time to do that in the fight, when to pull the trigger on those things, and people want to see people get punched in the face. You know, I come to realize that. I did a lot of kicking early on in my career because it was safe. You know, I came out pretty much unscathed every single time, and I like protecting the moneymaker. Then I realized, you know, I can only get by and beat those top guys so far. There's only so much I can get by doing that, and I had to adjust. And I learned, you know. So you got to just keep evolving and keep punching people in the face. That's more exciting, I think. Is that not exciting? You want to see people get punched?
two guys who are going to be standing in the octagon in the main event. They both love to get in there and entertain.
Yeah.
That should be an absolutely superb main event. Break that fight down for us. How do you see that fight going?
I think it's a very exciting fight. Cerrone brings it every single time. That guy doesn't know what retreat is. Till's a very good striker in his own right. He's younger, more durable, I think, at this point in their respective careers. Not saying Donald, I think if you watch the fights closely, you can see some of those shots that Donald has taken in his past few fights. It looks like it's doing a little bit more damage than it has done in the past. And I think it's become a little bit harder for him to wear those punches the way he has, in, like I said, in the past. But I think he goes out there, he lands those combinations the way he typically does, like he did against Rick Story. Man, it could be a short night for Till. But like I said, Till's a great striker in his own right. Very smart, very young, and I think it always makes for a good matchup when it's going to be two strikers that are coming in there to put their hands on somebody. You got to watch out for those kicks. Those head kicks are very tricky by Donald.
It's just been announced, obviously, you're facing Rani Yahya.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that fight?
I think it's a great fight for me.